If you're a man over 60, there's something you need to hear. The FDA won't warn you, but your dinner plate holds 5 common vegetables scientifically proven to choke blood flow to your manhood. Discover the shocking truth your urologist isn't telling you. If you're a man over 60, there's something crucial you need to hear, and it might stir some frustration within you. The vegetables you've placed your trust in for decades, the ones touted as pillars of health, could ironically be undermining the very foundation of your vitality. These seemingly innocent foods might be the hidden culprits behind fading erections, dwindling energy levels, and a quiet erosion of your confidence. This isn't about scaring you, it's about confronting a reality I've witnessed repeatedly throughout my career. Too many good men, dedicated to eating what they believe is right, end up paying a heavy price in the most intimate area of their health, often without understanding why. I'm Dr. Lucy Stone, a urologist and men's health specialist with over 3 decades dedicated to helping men like you reclaim their vigor and sense of self. Today, I'm breaking the silence on a truth most doctors overlook, not out of indifference, but often from a lack of specialized understanding in how specific foods interact uniquely with the aging male body after 60. Imagine the possibility that the vegetables filling your plate are slowly constricting your blood flow, subtly weakening your testosterone production, and accelerating a decline in sexual function you desperately want to avoid. The scientific evidence linking diet, vascular health, and hormonal balance is robust, and once you grasp the mechanisms at play, you'll view these familiar foods through an entirely different lens. Stay with me because in the next few moments, I will reveal the 5 specific vegetables that pose the greatest threat to erectile strength and overall virility after 60, and crucially, I'll provide a clear, actionable plan to begin reversing the damage starting today. Before we delve into these problematic foods, ensure you're connected for vital updates. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss crucial health advice tailored specifically for men navigating this stage of life. Your engagement matters. If this message resonates, let me know with a 1 in the comments, a 0 if it doesn't. Your feedback guides me in serving you better each time. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter you came for. The first vegetable on this list is shrouded in a health halo, widely perceived as beneficial, even essential. Yet, for men crossing the threshold of 60, it can act as a silent saboteur, insidiously undermining testosterone levels and gradually eroding your ability to perform. We need to talk about soy-based products, tofu, edamame, soy milk, tempeh, and soy sprouts. Let me illustrate this with the story of Richard, a 67-year-old retired firefighter from Ohio, a proud grandfather of 5. Richard came to me after enduring over a year of quiet suffering. He struggled with poor sleep, a noticeable drop in energy, and the most distressing symptom, erections that were barely present, leaving him feeling diminished and confused. He was baffled, telling me, "Doc, I eat clean. I walk every day. I've even cut out red meat. So why is this happening?" A meticulous review of his daily intake revealed a glaring pattern. Soy was a constant presence. Soy milk in his morning coffee, edamame as his afternoon snack, tofu stir-fries for dinner. He genuinely believed he was making the optimal, heart-healthy choice. The critical detail most men miss, and Richard was never told, is that soy contains potent compounds called phytoestrogens. These plant-derived chemicals structurally mimic the hormone estrogen within the human body. When you're a man over 60, already grappling with a natural, age-related decline in testosterone production, introducing additional estrogen-like activity is profoundly counterproductive. It subtly shifts your hormonal equilibrium away from the androgenic balance essential for male vitality, tipping the scales towards estrogen dominance. This shift doesn't announce itself with pain or obvious symptoms. It operates stealthily, leading to a slow, steady weakening of libido, erectile function, and overall sexual confidence. Richard, like countless men, hadn't grasped that these subtle hormonal fluctuations carry far greater weight after 60. The body's resilience wanes. Testosterone doesn't rebound as readily as it did decades prior. The delicate hormonal interplay governing energy, mood, focus, and erectile capacity become significantly more vulnerable to disruption from dietary choices perceived as benign. We immediately implemented a plan, eliminating all soy-based products and replacing them with foods known to support healthy testosterone levels: eggs, lean poultry, fatty fish, cruciferous vegetables, and healthy fats. The transformation wasn't instantaneous, but within just 3 weeks, Richard reported noticeable changes. His energy felt more sustained throughout the day. Crucially, morning erections, a key indicator of nocturnal testosterone activity and vascular health, returned. Then came the emotional breakthrough. With tears welling in his eyes, he shared that he and his wife had enjoyed intimacy naturally, without pharmaceutical aids or performance anxiety, for the first time in many months. That's the tangible power of aligning your food choices with the specific physiological needs of your current life stage. Richard's story resonates because it reflects a common, often unrecognized pattern I encounter routinely. We're bombarded with the universal mantra to eat more plants, which is sound general advice. However, the critical nuance missing is that not all plants are created equal for a man navigating his 60s, 70s, and beyond. This distinction separates those who age with sustained vitality from those who experience a gradual, frustrating decline. Let me be clear, soy isn't inherently evil. For a young, highly active 25-year-old, moderate soy consumption is unlikely to derail robust hormone production. But if you're 60, 70, or older, already contending with lower baseline testosterone and potentially compromised blood flow, the estrogenic effects of regular soy intake can act as the proverbial final straw, critically undermining sexual performance. This isn't about fear, it's about biological reality and empowering yourself with knowledge. It's about giving your body what it genuinely needs to thrive at this stage, not blindly following outdated or generalized dietary trends. If you've been relying on soy, don't condemn yourself. You acted on the best information you had. Now, armed with this understanding, you possess the agency to make different, more supportive choices starting immediately. Next, we turn to a category of vegetables that appear utterly innocuous due to their sheer convenience. They're likely sitting in your pantry or cupboard right now, salty, shelf-stable, and often misleadingly marketed as heart-smart options. However, these foods inflict significant damage on the very vascular system essential for achieving and maintaining strong, reliable erections. I'll expose precisely what they are and elucidate how they silently accelerate the aging of your manhood. That brings me to another pervasive, yet stealthy, saboteur I confront far too often in my practice: canned and pickled vegetables. They seem harmless, even prudent, because of their extended shelf life and ease of preparation. But they inflict quiet devastation on the delicate blood vessels that are the lifeline of erectile function. Consider the case of James, a disciplined 72-year-old retired Navy officer from South Carolina. James was the epitome of reliability, never missing a day of work in 40 years, maintaining physical fitness, and still actively splitting firewood. Yet, when he sat in my clinic, he confessed with palpable frustration, "Doctor, I feel like my body wants to perform, but it just doesn't respond anymore." Superficially, his lifestyle seemed exemplary. No smoking, minimal alcohol, consistent daily walks. However, a deep dive into his eating habits revealed the culprit. His diet heavily featured canned vegetables, green beans, corn, peas, along with pickled beets and jarred sauerkraut. His reasoning was practical. "Doc, it's just easier than cooking fresh stuff every night. I live alone, and it saves time." The fundamental problem lies in the astronomical sodium content packed into these preserved products. While sodium is essential in moderation, the levels in canned and pickled vegetables far exceed what your body, particularly after 60, can healthily process. Excessive sodium intake does more than elevate blood pressure. It directly damages the endothelium. This is the ultra-thin, vital inner lining of your entire vascular network, including the intricate web of arteries and capillaries that supply blood to the penis. Let's be unequivocal. An erection is fundamentally a hydraulic event driven by blood flow. It simply cannot occur without smooth, unrestricted circulation into the penile chambers. When excessive sodium causes systemic inflammation and stiffening of the arteries, arteriosclerosis, it creates a significant roadblock for that crucial blood surge. You don't feel this damage happening acutely. There's no sudden pain or warning sign. It's an insidious, gradual process. One day, you simply realize erections aren't as firm, don't last as long, or perhaps the desire remains strong, but the physical response is frustratingly absent. This was James's silent struggle, and he is far from alone. Over my career, I've counseled countless men like him, independent, principled, yet unwittingly sacrificing their sexual vitality for the sake of convenience. Our solution was straightforward: eliminate all canned and pickled vegetables, replacing them with fresh, potassium-rich alternatives. Potassium actively counteracts sodium's negative effects. We incorporated ample leafy greens, spinach, kale, lightly steamed zucchini, roasted bell peppers, and fresh cucumbers. Within 1 month, James saw a measurable improvement in his blood pressure readings. More significantly, he reported feeling a renewed sense of alertness and vitality down there. Morning erections returned consistently, and he expressed a profound resurgence in confidence, a feeling he hadn't realized he'd lost. This isn't merely about sexual function, it's deeply intertwined with dignity and a fundamental sense of wholeness. When a man feels disconnected from his body's natural responses, it chips away at his core identity. The empowering truth is that your body possesses a remarkable capacity for repair and healing when provided with the right conditions. Take a moment to examine your own pantry. What convenience foods line your shelves? Are those canned green beans or pickled beets truly worth the hidden, steep costs they're extracting from your circulatory health, your intimacy, and your self-assurance? The ease they offer often masks the highest long-term price. Now, shifting to another dietary staple that carries surprising risks, we encounter a vegetable so ubiquitous in American households it's practically a cultural icon. It's served baked, fried, mashed, or crisped, gracing dinner tables with relentless frequency. However, its impact on blood sugar is so severe it can mimic the vascular damage observed in diabetic men, directly impairing erectile function in multiple, often underestimated, ways. I'll pinpoint exactly what it is and guide you towards smarter, performance-enhancing substitutes. While discussing commonplace foods with hidden dangers, one vegetable stands out, a staple most men over 60 have consumed their entire lives, oblivious to its insidious effects on erectile health. Let me share Harold's experience. Harold, 69, a former truck driver from Minnesota, was the salt-of-the-earth type. When he sat in my office, he looked me directly in the eye and stated plainly, "Doc, I'm not expecting miracles. I just want to feel like a man again." His plea wasn't for magic pills or a return to youth. He simply yearned to reconnect intimately with his wife of 40 years through better, natural choices. Reviewing his meals revealed a dominant pattern. White potatoes featured prominently nearly every single day, hash browns at breakfast, mashed potatoes with dinner, and French fries during his former long hauls. It was an ingrained habit, something he never questioned, and understandably so. Potatoes are affordable, filling, and deeply embedded in the American diet. The critical information Harold, and most men, are never told is that white potatoes, particularly when fried, processed into flour, or loaded with high-fat toppings, rank among the highest glycemic index, GI, foods available. This means they cause a rapid and dramatic spike in your blood sugar levels. This surge triggers a corresponding sharp rise in insulin. Over time, these repeated spikes contribute to insulin resistance, a condition where your cells become less responsive to insulin's signal to absorb glucose. This metabolic dysfunction is a major driver of systemic inflammation and inflicts direct damage on the lining of your blood vessels, endothelial dysfunction, and nerves. Both healthy blood vessels and intact nerves are absolutely fundamental for achieving and sustaining an erection. In younger men, the body might possess enough metabolic flexibility to somewhat buffer these insults. However, after 60, the same glycemic hits land with greater force, and recovery is slower. Cumulatively, they lead to stiffer arteries, reduced production of nitric oxide, the key chemical that signals blood vessels to relax and dilate, and a gradual loss of sensitivity and responsiveness in the penile tissue. This is why many men feel a growing disconnect between their mental desire and their body's physical response. The desire exists, but the machinery fails to engage reliably. When Harold grasped this connection, he was stunned. "Nobody ever told me a potato could mess with my manhood," he said, half-jokingly, but with a palpable sense of having been misled. He felt betrayed by the basic foods he trusted. Our strategy involved substitution, not deprivation. We replaced white potatoes with sweet potatoes, which have a significantly lower glycemic index, are packed with antioxidants like beta-carotene, and are far more supportive of vascular health. Instead of fries, he opted for roasted sweet potato wedges tossed lightly in olive oil and herbs. Instead of butter and cream-laden mashed potatoes, he enjoyed mashed sweet potatoes blended with garlic, a touch of Greek yogurt, and pepper. The results unfolded progressively. First, his energy levels stabilized, eliminating the afternoon crashes. His mood noticeably lifted. Then came the pivotal moment. He reported waking up with a strong, spontaneous erection, an occurrence absent for over a year. With a characteristic grin, he remarked, "I thought he retired. Turns out he just needed better fuel." This encapsulates the core principle. Fueling your body with the right nutrients protects your vascular system, supports hormonal balance, and sustains a feeling of being truly alive, not merely existing. I fully acknowledge how challenging it is to reassess lifelong dietary staples. Change requires conscious effort, but it pales in comparison to the profound regret of waking up years later feeling even more disconnected and defeated, wondering if the opportunity for improvement has passed. It's not too late if you start now. What you consume today directly shapes how your body will function tomorrow. If potatoes were a revelation, prepare for the next vegetable, often celebrated for its versatility and deep, savory flavor. You've encountered it fried, stewed, grilled, and smothered in rich sauces. However, its unique physical property, acting like a sponge for cooking oils, can quietly ignite systemic inflammation, leaving your sexual responsiveness dulled. Let's examine this next deceptive culprit. We now turn to a vegetable that appears sophisticated and wholesome, but when prepared using common methods, transforms into a significant adversary of male sexual health. Consider Leonard, a 74-year-old retired music teacher from New Jersey. Leonard was soft-spoken, articulate, and deeply committed to his wife of nearly 50 years. He came in for what he discreetly termed a quality-of-life check, a gentle way of expressing, "Doc, things aren't working as they should, and I want to address it proactively." Leonard's refreshing honesty was his strength. He sought understanding, not excuses. Exploring his lifestyle, his dietary habits revealed a clear favorite: eggplant. He relished it, grilled, sautéed, fried, layered in rich casseroles like eggplant parmesan, smothered in sauce. It was a frequent centerpiece of his meals. Here's the crucial detail most men miss. Eggplant itself isn't the primary villain. In its raw state, it's low in calories and offers fiber and some antioxidants. The critical problem lies in its preparation. Eggplant possesses a spongy texture that rapidly absorbs astonishing amounts of cooking oil. Typically, it's fried or drenched in vegetable oils like corn, soybean, or canola oil, which are extremely high in pro-inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids. Consistently consuming large amounts of these oils creates a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation throughout the body. Inflammation is arguably one of the most destructive forces for erectile health. It directly interferes with the production and function of nitric oxide, the essential chemical messenger that signals the smooth muscles and penile arteries to relax and allow blood to flood in. Without adequate nitric oxide signaling, the desire might be present, but the crucial physical response, vasodilation and blood engorgement, fails to materialize. This disconnect breeds profound frustration and discouragement. For Leonard, this explanation was a revelation. He had never suspected his beloved eggplant parmesan, a dish he associated with Mediterranean health, could be sabotaging his intimate life. He quipped, "Doc, I thought I was eating healthy. Turns out I was deep-frying my sex drive." Our approach wasn't about elimination, but transformation. We modified his cooking methods, roasting or grilling eggplant with a very light brushing of high-quality extra virgin olive oil, rich in anti-inflammatory monounsaturated fats and polyphenol, instead of frying. We emphasized using fresh tomatoes, aromatic herbs, garlic, and spices for flavor instead of heavy, oil-laden sauces or cheeses. The results were measurable. Blood tests showed a reduction in key inflammation markers. Within weeks, Leonard reported stronger, more frequent morning erections and a distinct sensation he described as waking up again, like there's blood moving where it wasn't before. This underscores a vital principle. Sometimes the danger lies not in the food itself, but in how we habitually prepare it. The oils we choose, the cooking techniques we default to, have profound, often hidden, consequences for circulation, inflammation levels, and ultimately, sexual responsiveness. Leonard's journey is a powerful testament that you don't necessarily need to abandon cherished foods. You need to learn how to prepare them in harmony with your body's changing needs after 60. The window for positive change remains wide open when approached wisely. Now, prepare for the final vegetable on our list, one so deeply ingrained in the American diet and culture it seems beyond reproach, found in snacks, stews, and iconic summer barbecues. It appears wholesome, even celebratory. Yet, beneath this familiar facade, it disrupts blood sugar stability, interferes with hormonal balance, and specifically fuels the accumulation of belly fat, which actively converts your precious testosterone into estrogen. If safeguarding your manhood is a priority, this revelation is essential. Let's discuss corn. To illustrate the impact of this ubiquitous vegetable, I'll share Thomas's story. Thomas, 66, a retired elementary school principal from Iowa, was a pillar of his community, strong, dependable, a mentor. Yet, when he entered my office, he felt anything but strong. He described persistent tiredness, mental sluggishness, and deep frustration over a steady decline in his sexual performance and drive. "I still feel the desire, Doc," he confessed, "but my body isn't catching up. It's like the engine's there, but the fuel line's clogged." Examining his diet revealed no overt junk food, no significant overeating, and he had cut back on alcohol. However, one ingredient was a constant: corn. Corn on the cob with dinner, corn tortillas for lunch wraps, corn chips as an evening snack. He hadn't considered it problematic. It was just familiar, affordable, ever-present food. The modern reality of corn is starkly different from the vegetable of generations past. Much of today's corn is heavily processed and often genetically modified. It's primarily starch, offering minimal nutrients relative to its caloric load, and critically, it has a very high glycemic index, spiking blood sugar almost as rapidly as white bread or pure sugar. These repeated blood sugar surges lead directly to insulin resistance, which fuels chronic inflammation. This inflammation damages the endothelium, harming the very blood vessels essential for erectile function. But the damage extends further. Regular consumption of corn, especially in its processed forms like chips, cereals, tortillas, and the ubiquitous high-fructose corn syrup found in countless products, is strongly linked to increased visceral, belly, fat. This is where the most insidious hormonal sabotage occurs. Belly fat isn't inert storage, it's metabolically active tissue. It contains high levels of an enzyme called aromatase, which actively converts testosterone into estrogen. Let that sink in. The more belly fat you carry, the more of your vital testosterone is silently transformed into estrogen. This process directly diminishes muscle mass, saps energy levels, dampens libido, erodes confidence, and critically, weakens erectile strength. Explaining this to Thomas was a watershed moment. He leaned back, absorbing the information, and said, "No one ever told me corn could mess with my hormones. I thought it was just a harmless side dish." His reaction reflects a widespread lack of awareness among men unknowingly undermining their virility with basic dietary staples. We took decisive action, eliminating corn chips, corn tortillas, foods with corn syrup, and significantly reducing whole corn. We replaced these with high-fiber, blood sugar-stabilizing foods, lentils, quinoa, beans, leafy greens, and berries. Initially, the change was challenging. Corn was deeply woven into his eating habits. However, within weeks, his energy levels rebounded, mental fog lifted, and when I inquired about intimacy, he smiled and offered a simple, telling response, "Let's just say I'm not as worried as I used to be." The lesson here is about awareness, not achieving dietary perfection. Once you understand the physiological impact of certain foods, you gain the power to make informed choices that alter your trajectory. Persistently consuming foods like corn that promote insulin resistance and estrogen conversion stacks the deck against your vitality, accumulating damage and frustration over time. You deserve far better than silent self-sabotage. You deserve a body that works in concert with your desires, not against them. Achieving this often starts with knowing what to consciously avoid. Having exposed these 5 problematic vegetables, the natural question arises: what should you be eating? What specific dietary patterns and lifestyle habits actively foster stronger erections, robust circulation, and balanced hormones after 60? This is the pivotal transition, because avoiding detrimental foods is only the first step. The proactive choices you implement starting today lay the foundation for renewed strength tomorrow. Let's explore this empowering path forward. Now that we've identified and understood the 5 vegetables potentially undermining your vitality, let's focus decisively on the solutions. The foods, habits, and mindset shifts that actively rebuild strength, confidence, and reliable performance. A profound transformation occurs when a man realizes he still holds significant control over his health destiny. I witness this pivotal shift frequently, the moment he ceases to feel like a passive victim of aging and steps into the role of the active architect of his well-being. Your body, while older, remains remarkably responsive. It's still listening, still capable of positive change, still yearning to function well. It simply requires you to provide the optimal conditions. Walter, a 71-year-old patient, embodies this beautifully. He came to me feeling skeptical yet hopeful after watching one of my talks. He had tried various pills, supplements, and dubious miracle cures peddled online, all yielding disappointment. However, the concept that something as fundamental as food could hold the key resonated deeply. We adopted a simple, sustainable approach: no drastic fads, no overwhelming restrictions, just clear, consistent, actionable steps. We systematically removed the 5 problematic vegetables we've discussed. Then, we rebuilt his daily meals around core pillars proven to support the aging male physiology. Leafy greens powerhouse, spinach, kale, arugula, Swiss chard, and romaine lettuce became staples. These are exceptionally rich in dietary nitrates, which the body converts into nitric oxide, the master molecule for relaxing blood vessels, improving circulation systemically, and directly enhancing erectile blood flow. Healthy Fats Foundation. We prioritized high-quality fats, extra virgin olive oil drizzled on vegetables and salads, avocado added to meals, and fatty fish, like salmon, mackerel, sardines, consumed 2 to 3 times per week. These fats reduce inflammation, support healthy cell membranes, including those in hormone-producing cells, and provide building blocks for hormone synthesis. Zinc optimization. Recognizing zinc's critical role in testosterone production and immune function, we incorporated zinc-rich foods like pumpkin seeds, a great snack or salad topping, oysters, when possible, lean cuts of red meat, in moderation, 1 to 2 times per week, lentils, and chickpeas. Blood sugar stability. Crucially, we minimized sugar and refined carbohydrates, white bread, pasta, pastries, sugary drinks. These are major drivers of insulin resistance, inflammation, and endothelial damage, accelerating vascular problems far faster than many men realize. Diet was the cornerstone, but we integrated supportive lifestyle pillars. Consistent movement. No intense gym sessions were required. We focused on daily walking, 30 to 60 minutes, light stretching or yoga to maintain flexibility, and simple bodyweight exercises. The goal was consistent blood flow and maintaining muscle mass, not bodybuilding. Adequate hydration. Ensuring sufficient water intake throughout the day supports every cellular process, including circulation and detoxification. Prioritized sleep. Quality sleep, 7 to 8 hours, is non-negotiable for hormone regulation, recovery, and overall vitality. We established a calming pre-sleep routine. Purposeful engagement. We discussed reconnecting with hobbies, social connections, and activities that brought him joy and a sense of meaning. Psychological well-being is intrinsically linked to physical vitality and sexual health. 3 months later, Walter returned transformed. His posture was straighter, his smile more frequent, his energy palpable. He wasn't just coping, he was actively engaged in his life. When I inquired about intimate well-being, he chuckled warmly. Let's just say my wife is sending you a thank you card. This potential is real and attainable. You are not beyond the point of meaningful improvement. You are not too old to invest in feeling vibrant. You are absolutely not powerless. The strategy is clear. First, consciously remove the dietary elements actively working against you, the foods demonstrably dulling blood flow, suppressing testosterone, and promoting inflammation. Second, proactively nourish your body with what it genuinely craves for optimal function at this life stage. Nutrient-dense whole foods, consistent gentle movement, deep restorative sleep, and meaningful connection. Perfection is unnecessary. Consistent intention is paramount. Every day of inaction allows the detrimental processes to continue. Conversely, every positive choice you make today, this week, this month, swapping a food, taking a walk, prioritizing sleep, compounds into significant results over time. This journey extends far beyond achieving better erections. It encompasses sustained energy, improved mood, deeper emotional and physical connection with your partner, and the profound sense of feeling truly at home and confident within your own body once more. Don't postpone this investment in yourself. Your presence here, engaging with this information, signals your seriousness and readiness for change. Before we conclude, I want to share a deeper reflection drawn from more than 30 years immersed in men's health. While nutrition and lifestyle are undeniably powerful tools, there's an even more fundamental element underpinning lasting strength, confidence, and vitality after 60. As we near the end, I feel compelled to share a more personal perspective, a truth crystallized through decades of walking alongside men navigating life beyond 60. A subtle shift often occurs as men enter this decade. The world can start treating you differently, speaking slower, offering unsolicited help, perhaps subtly implying that your active, engaged years are winding down. In certain aspects, embracing a slower pace, cherishing hard-earned wisdom, and seeking peace is perfectly valid. However, there's one core aspect of your being you should never feel pressured to relinquish: your innate vitality, your enduring strength, your inner fire. This essence doesn't have to diminish. I state this not only as a physician analyzing blood tests and symptoms, but as a witness to the journeys of thousands of men who felt they were losing something profound, not just physical capability, but a deeper connection to their sense of self, their quiet confidence, and the intrinsic pride in knowing they could still fully show up for their partners and themselves. What you've learned today may have been surprising, even unsettling. Discovering that foods often promoted as healthy, soy products, canned/pickled vegetables, white potatoes, eggplant prepared poorly, and corn, could be contributing to the very issues you're battling challenges long-held assumptions. These foods aren't toxic in a sensational way. The issue is a profound mismatch. They are simply not aligned with what your aging male body specifically requires after 60 to maintain robust blood flow, balanced hormones, and resilient sexual health, the pillars of feeling fully alive and capable. We revisited the stories of Richard, James, Harold, Leonard, Thomas, and Walter. 6 distinct men, diverse backgrounds, united by a shared, often silent struggle. Perhaps you recognized echoes of your own experience in one of them. That recognition is powerful. You are not navigating this alone, and you don't have to decipher it in isolation. Here is the core message I hope you carry forward. Aging is not synonymous with surrender. It does not mandate passively watching your energy fade and intimacy dwindle. Instead, it invites you to become more astute, more attuned, more strategic about the fuel you provide your body and the habits you cultivate. If you've been consuming vegetables that work against you, it doesn't reflect carelessness. It means you followed dietary guidance not designed for the unique hormonal and vascular landscape of a man over 60. Now, armed with this knowledge, you possess the agency to make different choices. Start practically. Swap that canned vegetable for a fresh or frozen alternative. Choose roasted sweet potato wedges over French fries. Grill your eggplant lightly with olive oil instead of deep frying it. Reduce your corn intake and observe the positive changes as belly fat potentially decreases and hormonal balance improves. These are manageable adjustments, not overwhelming overhauls. Yet, their impact is significant and cumulative over time. I reiterate this fundamental truth. Your body remains responsive. It awaits your signal. It awaits your belief in the possibility of positive change. And I assure you, based on decades of clinical evidence, that possibility is real. I've guided men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s to implement changes that yielded tangible results. Stronger, more reliable erections, sustained energy, deeper sleep, renewed confidence, and perhaps most importantly, a reclaimed sense of ownership and control over their health journey. Take a deep breath. Release the limiting belief that decline is inevitable. Reclaim what is inherently yours, your strength, your autonomy, your voice. Remember, this path isn't about flawless execution, it's about consistent direction. Every single choice you make from this moment forward, what you eat, how you move, how you rest, either actively builds up your masculine vitality or subtly erodes it. Choose the path of building. Thank you for dedicating this time to your well-being. Thank you for demonstrating the courage to keep learning, questioning, and showing up for yourself. If this message resonated, if you felt understood or glimpsed a new possibility, I invite you to stay connected. There is more vital knowledge to share, more layers to uncover, more vitality to rebuild, one informed, empowered step at a time. Your most vibrant, engaged days are not relics of the past. They await the right support, and that journey begins decisively with the choices you make today. Before you go, I sincerely thank you for investing this time in your health. If today's discussion provided clarity, insight, or even a spark of hope, I kindly ask you to engage further. Clicking the like button significantly helps this video reach more men who might be silently enduring similar struggles, and it signals to the platform that this is valuable, necessary content. If you know a friend, brother, father, or partner who could benefit from understanding these common dietary pitfalls, please share this video with them. Your simple act could profoundly impact someone else's quality of life. If you wish to receive more direct, no-nonsense guidance on men's health, maintaining intimacy, and thriving through the decades, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. I release new, focused content weekly, specifically designed for men navigating this stage. Finally, if you value this mission of providing accessible, high-quality health information and wish to support its continuation, consider contributing to the channel. Your support allows this vital work to reach further. Thank you for being here, and thank you for choosing to prioritize your health and well-being. You matter immensely.